Well, we got the cam shaft out, and that was a pretty big chore because this motor was seized, and since it was seized, I couldn't get the camshaft to turn, and unfortunately, I had both of the bolts lined up with the head here, so they wouldn't just pull out and give me any space. But what I found out is that if you pull the cam tensioner, which goes in here, and if you pull that out, the cam tensioner will actually become extremely loose, which will allow you to, well, what I did was I pulled the chain taut on this side. I was able to wrap it up and around the cam gear, and I was able to pop it off of the cam gear, and that allowed me to take it out. So that was quite interesting. A few minutes of frustration, but slowly making some progress. It's going pretty good. I actually have the head is, well, there went my chain. That's cool. At least we're rebuilding this thing. Anyways, I got the head loose. Let's see if I'll probably actually have to take it out of the bike. Well, I guess we got as far as we could. Now we're gonna have to take it out of the bike itself. Also, look at this old stuff is black. That's probably factory, or that's probably the first oil it's seen, and probably never seen anything new since it first rode off the lot. Jeez, this stuff is black, nasty, and it's got some water in it too, which is unfortunate, but I guess it comes with the territory. Alright, we'll pop this out of the bike real quick and get up on the bench and go from there. Alright, so kind of starting to get the piston unseized. It was all the way at the top almost, and as you can see, it's almost all the way down there. And the way I'm getting it unseized is, well, I obviously can't get to the wrist pins, so what I'm doing is I'm spacing the block out, and I'm just slowly and lightly tapping the piston back down, and then just adding some spacers as I go. And used to be, it was a couple washers, and as you can see now, I have almost a half inch going on here. So we're gonna keep going and see where it goes. All right, so we got the piston off. We got all the side cover. We got all the clutch, all the internals on here off. We got the flywheel off. This let's see where to get this piece right here. This little piece that works the points. That was on the shaft, and I tried to pull it off with my puller and kind of broke it a little bit. I'm not too worried. That's not a whole bunch of weight. Shouldn't be too bad, but I don't know if I'm going to be reusing this at all or not. But pretty much it just slid right off after I had put a rod in here to hold the crank from moving. I was able to twist it with a pair of pliers, and then I was able to get it loose and pull it off. But anyway, so now what we're doing is we're going to be splitting the case here. I've got my gear puller kind of set up here with some pieces of metal on these bolt points here. And pretty much we're just going to see if we can pull the case apart. So we're just going to do that real quick. Alright, well, we succeeded in busting a file, which is cool. I should have known that would happen, so I went ahead and got a couple more pieces of red iron. Bolted them up there, and as you can see, just used the impact, kind of went slowly at it, just slowly splitting the case here. Being sure that I go on this back side with a screwdriver to kind of help along, just because most of the pulling force is over here and not on this back, but it's going pretty good. Alright, well, we got the case split. We got our transmission right here. We got our shift drum. Kickstarter, here's the main crank. Thankfully, my crank bearings are still good, but my primary drive and my secondary drive bearings are not good on both sides, actually. Well, that one's okay, it's a little chunky. That one's definitely not good. But anyways, those are easy enough to replace. I'm just glad that the crank bearings are good. That'll save a little bit of work that I'll have to not do. So anyhow, this is looking pretty good. Everything seems to be going all right. But yeah, we'll keep going on it, see what happens. All right, there it is. There's the there's the gear system, all nice and shiny, all cleaned up and redone. It's the whole reason why I even split the case in the first place was not just because of how dirty it was on the inside, but also because the gears weren't shifting, and I thought for some reason that maybe one of the shift forks was bent, or maybe, I don't know, maybe like a gear was broken or something. But it ended up that the gears that slide back and forth, they were actually just seized to the shafts, and they just couldn't move back and forth. But we fixed that, and we got the shift drum all cleaned up. We got, you know, chain cleaned up. This I still need to clean, but probably gonna have to do that tomorrow. It's getting kind of late, so I'm kind of gonna pack it up. But we got the crank out. We got it kind of cleaned up. It's a little dirty. I mean, it's not dirty. It's kind of pitted a little bit from the rust, but it should be okay. And we also got the bearings unseized, and they actually turn. This one's a little chunky, but it turns pretty easily. Same with the other side. These actually turn really good too. That one's actually pretty good. That one's a little chunky, but I don't think it should be too big of an issue. I mean, most likely this bike I'm probably not going to ride like a whole freaking bunch, but just, I don't know, should be okay. I don't know, we'll see. I kind of want to replace them, but at the same time I kind of don't want to replace them because I like to just start getting this back together. But anyhow, we'll see what happens. Alright, there we go. We got the cases put back together. Well, I say put back together, they're just kind of mocked up right now, just make sure everything's working. But most importantly, I don't know if you can see down in there, but we got everything put back in there. And let's see, let me pause this real quick. Okay, so here's the output shaft, and currently it's in neutral. So if I spin this over here, which you can't see, but I am spinning it, you can see it isn't turning it. Let me just reset that real quick. Okay. Then if I shift it, see, should be able to shift it this way, and that's first. There's first gear. That should be second gear. Let's see here. Alright, there's third gear. And then, let's see, that should be fourth gear, and then there's fifth gear. So the motor is now officially able to shift. What do you want, cat? What? Yeah, you hungry? I'll feed you here in a minute. Anyways, so we got full speed, full 5 gears, and of course neutral. And it shifts all the way through. Hey, man, I'm trying to make a video right now. You're a cutie, though. Let's see here. Let's see if we can... Oh, and that's it right there. That's first. So, there we go, neutral. Cool. So that's that. And we also got the... I don't know if it's... Should be pretty good. We also got the kick start to work. So the kickstart's working pretty good, actually. So, let's see. There we go. The washer back in there. So anyways, we got all those good stuff. We got all that stuff. Man, I'm tired. We got all those things going pretty good right now. So now all we need to do is... actually, it's pretty late. I'm not even going to start trying to tell what myself I'm trying to do here. But anyways, I think pretty much all we got to do is just put the gaskets back in, or of course put our crank back in, and all the other little things that go in here, and then figure out what we're going to do for our, of course, figure out what we're going to do for the charging system. I have an idea, but we're going to see if I can do that. And It's looking pretty good. Got it all nice and clean from what it looked like before. You know, it was kind of looking like that before. Now we got it all nice and shiny, like all good and shiny looking. I say it's coming along pretty nicely so far. Anyhow.